In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I'm Lucky.
Here I go! This hand of mine is burning red!
And I'm Michael. Realize the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed.
Johnny.
Your darkness swallowed up my son? Who decided that?
Erupting! Burning!
Now all of you.
Die.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Anime Casuals. I am Lucky.
I'm Michael.
I'm Johnny.
And we make up Anime Casuals. Welcome back, or welcome back from the future. Oh my god.
We're back to the future.
I hope you didn't go to the future just to watch this, because you wasted a lot of time here. You should be going checking out some of the other shit that we got over here. But anyway, if you couldn't tell, we're talking about time travel in anime. Whatever that might entail, I'll be real with you. I bent the rules a couple times on this, but there was somebody that actually ended up predicting this, and I think that was Michael. So why don't you go first, or maybe you already knew that? Oh no,
I already knew this.
Oh,
So we'll leap to one of my favorite instances of time travel that totally broke my brain. Spoilers real quick if you have not watched Your Name. And now I'm going to say it. You've had plenty of time to earmuffs. So Your Name is a time travel movie. It's an anime movie, and it's amazing because the way they show off time travel comes out of nowhere. Like, it comes out of left field for you're like, oh, it's a boy, it's a girl, and they're trading bodies and they're like communicating with each other, and then out of nowhere, like after like you're like, oh my god, the asteroid had killed her, what's going on? Then you find out that the asteroid actually hit her village like years ago, like 20 years ago or something, or like 15 years ago, and it was like this big event, and that was kind of crazy to me because it completely blew my brain, because I was expecting it just to be a fun, like, swapping body story. And then it was a time travel story that he actually, like, was able to save her. And it was also one of the anime movies that's made me, like, cry buckets. So it was...
That's the power of love.
Bam, bam. Okay. It was...
I had to do it.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really good. So, yeah, that's my first one.
Nice.
Nice.
I actually had some
Nice.
struggles trying to find some that were, in my mind, kind of legitimate time travel and not just going to a different place with a different time. But one of the ones I'm going to talk about is, for that example, would be Future Diary, which I mostly chose because I think no one here has seen.
No, that's the one I knew you were going to pick too. I was like,
oh really?
Yeah, I absolutely knew it.
Huh,
I was like, this is the only time travel like thing that none of us have seen, and I know Johnny has. So I'm like, he's gonna say it.
Actually, there's one more, but cool.
I predicted the future.
Another surprise. But in a nutshell, yeah, it's this entire game based on it's a battle royale anime, and everybody has a certain power that's, I want to say, is based in their phone. And it tells them certain clues and hints in order to fight everybody else. And they're basically fighting, I don't remember if it was just God, but they're fighting God to become God. And so throughout this whole thing, because now I'll start talking about spoilers, one of the characters, she ends up winning and wants to bring back one of the other contestants that she loves, but she can't do that. So she didn't destroy that universe, but she left, went to a different timeline, killed herself in that timeline, then went and took her place and was like, now I'm this person in this timeline. But when, that one, it's very timey-wimey, and I'm starting to lose it even as I talk about
Wibbly
it.
wobbly.
But there's a lot of crazy just time dimension hopping, I guess, is what I would call it. So it's kind of a branch off. So Yeah. That anime is crazy. As I think about it now. So yeah, Future Diary. There you go.
Nice. So this one, I think you guys might have seen the first episode of it, but it does get a little bit crazier as it goes on, which is Tokyo Revengers. I've always said this show is like Erased, and I guess any kind of gang anime you want, because it's a biker gang that's affiliated with it. But it's the same premise as Erased, right? Where you're trying to save somebody that you know is dead in your timeline. So that's like the basic premise in it of it. And in this case, it is Takamichi trying to save his sixth grade middle school girlfriend Hinata from certain doom from a gang some gang violence. And as he's like as he's about to go, because he's a piece of shit now. Like he works at a Blockbuster, not actually Blockbuster, but that's the only thing I can think of whenever I think of like video rental shit, like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video. But nobody knows what Hollywood Video is, so I just say Blockbuster. But Hollywood Video is part of my childhood too. Yeah,
I know what Hollywood Video is.
Yeah, time travel.
Game
here,
crazy.
Folks.
No, I only know Tower Records.
Oh God, get out of here with the Game Crazy. Oh, you broke my brain a little bit. Anyway, I'm having trouble here, man. I'm trying to digest these donuts and this fucking chicken for this cheat day. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you about Tokyo Revengers. But anyway, he goes back in time and has to do. Oh man, it's crazy. But
Syrup on both. Boom.
Why not, bro? It's cheat day. But man, so he goes back in time, but he also has to go back a lot like Erased, where he goes back and forth between the time periods to see what he's affected and what he hasn't. And I mean, there's some moments in here that are just freaking, crazy. Where like he goes back and he goes back to the future, and he's like, "Oh, I changed so much," and it's like, "Oh shit, I didn't do anything." Like, he does so much in the past, and then he just doesn't do anything. So I really like that about Tokyo Revengers. Although it can be a little gloomy, when you go back to the past, you have a clear objective, you do the objective. It's like, oh, there was some other like freaking asshole at work behind the scenes. But I think that's what makes the show really cool, and anything like that. So yeah, Tokyo Revengers is my first one here.
We're gonna keep this up with sticking with Shinkai movies, and we're gonna leap from Your Name to a very similar story of the girl who leapt through time.
It seems like cheating vaguely, but anyway, go ahead.
Movies, I win.
I saw them and I was like, nah, those don't really count.
Hey, they're anime.
Yeah.
Next subject. Is it anime? No, we already did that. So the girl who leapt through time is basically about a girl who was careening down a ramp or like a hill on a bike.
I thought you were gonna say a girl who was Korean. I was like, oh damn, that's pretty cool. Okay.
She's Korean. Yeah,
she's Korean down.
And as she's like riding down this hill at like super fast speeds, she like flips off her bike and lands in front of a train. And right like when she's like understanding death, she jumps backwards. And basically she's able to leap backwards through time at her own will. And there's this whole like weird like story around it that is actually really interesting because she got this power from like falling in love, and she basically uses it during the movie to try to ask this guy out, to try to like mold things that kind of work for her, try to save some other people. And eventually, like by the end of the movie, she has this like very out of place moment with I think her aunt, where she talks to her and she goes, yeah, I actually had that power when I was your age. And it, like when I fell in love, and it's just something that our family goes through, or girls that your time go through. And like I was like, what is this craziness? And it was really interesting the way that they kind of dealt with this Groundhog Day situation, that where she kept like bending things to her will, and some things would work out and some things wouldn't. And it was just generally a very fun movie to watch. It's hard for me to continue to explain this without people having watched it, as most time travel things are.
So pause, go watch it.
Yeah,
There you go.
absolutely. Go
and
watch
we're
it.
back. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that movie. Johnny, what about yours?
That was quick. So my next choice, there's actually not a whole lot of time travel concerning this character, but
It's Doctor Who.
go on.
You want to tell the rest of us? You want to tell the rest of ours, Michael? Jeez.
It's Junie Tyson.
Nice.
It's Rat from Junie Tyson because his whole power is from what? What?
That's cheating. That's
How?
giant spoilers. Wow.
I technically haven't said anything yet, so at this point, you now have time to go watch the anime. Anyway, so his whole premise in how he uses time travel in Junie Tyson is that he, I don't know, gets to try. Is it actually 100 times? I don't remember.
He gets 99, and then the 100th one is the one he picks.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
So
So
it was something around there. So yeah, he tried, and he goes through the entire Junie Tyson tournament 99 times to get to that last one, the one that he makes it through and wins. And it's a good way that it ends. It just kind of says like, I wish I hadn't have done that.
yeah, I mean, like it's kind of
That's fair.
crazy that his power he has to experience each one. So it's like a tree that like we see where he goes, okay, I took this path. Nope, that didn't work. Okay, and then I take this path. That didn't work. And he keeps trying 99 separate paths that all lead in his death, and then finally finds the one that he wins, and then goes, okay.
Dude, I
don't know if that was worth
that
it.
freaking death scene with Rooster was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen, where the birds are just pecking out his eyes and shit, and he's still alive, and he's like, ah, just restart me already, god damn it, just try to restart. Oh my god. Well, I mean, speaking of some brutal deaths, we got Ray Zero here. Ray Zero is
Too easy.
shut up. But Ray Zero was just one of those anime that give you a lot of respect for somebody like this, because in order to trigger the time travel event, just like Nezumi from Junie Tyson, he has to die in order to do it. And a lot of times, there are just moments where he has to, let's just say, start the process himself. So, he's jumping off fucking cliffs because he knows he has to restart. He's getting people to kill him, and all this kind of shit. And you're just like, bro, I'm gonna be real with you. I'd probably just keep going. I don't want to experience that shit, especially since you have the memory of, because he doesn't have the out that Nezumi had, where it's like, oh, I just wish I don't remember any of this. Whereas like, poor Subaru is just like, I can't tell anybody about this. Like, there's nobody that can help me. Oh, maybe a little bit later, but even then, it's not that much. And it's like, dude, nobody gets Subaru at all. And so, yeah, just seeing that amount, because we talk a lot about like on my mental health channel, we talk a lot about like PTSD and stuff. But can you imagine going back to the moment where you were killed and just being like, all right, let's try it again. It's just like, come on, bro.
That entirely mentally and physically affects him like one of his lives. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, dude. I still remember. I think the first, maybe the first or second time when he was like brutally murdered, he ends up like waking up in his bed in Rosewall's mansion, and he's just screaming, and the twins are right there sitting next to him, like holding each other. Like, what the fuck is wrong with this dude? It's like, if only you knew. Actually, one of them probably didn't know because one of them fucking killed his ass. But anyway, what's your next one, Michael?
My next one is Punchline. Punchline was like a sleeper anime for Johnny and I, where I think I saw a scene from it where there was just a guy, and then his nose exploded, and then like a blood tsunami went across the earth, and then an asteroid hit the earth, and everybody died. And I was like, what is this from? I keep seeing this little clip over and over again, kind of like Nichijou, where you see that like principal fighting the deer. Like, you just see it over and over again. And you're like, where is this from? And eventually I was like, hey, Johnny, there's this anime, and it has a lot of panty shots, and it has like kind of a fun story. Let's watch it. So we sat down and watched Punchline. And basically any time, whether this guy's a ghost or alive, he sees a panty shot, he gets so excited that his power triggers, and an asteroid smashes in the earth, creating an apocalyptic situation where nearly everybody dies. And then he resets and he goes back in time. But the trick is that every time he resets, he enters the body he enters his body in the past, and then the soul of himself at that point pops up as a ghost and then floats around because he can't go back inside his body. And it's such a strange concept because Punchline has a multitude of situations where he keeps looping back on the same event, but there's a balance between like these little moments with him and the girls in his house where he's just like sitting around and like being with them, and then occasionally a penny shot flash across the screen and he's like, oh no, and then his nose explodes and he resets again.
Here we go again.
Yeah, or there's these intense action scenes where like he powers up and fights people. And on top of all of this, there's this crazy body swapping that goes on where the entire time you're wondering, oh, we know who our main character is. And then suddenly they go, oh, no, the main character is actually in this person's body. And then the girl he likes is in his body. And then this person's in. It's like this woven together crazy tapestry of storyline that all stems from a fan servicey anime. It's super fan servicey. But all in all, it's actually really funny and fun. But don't try to watch it and then come up with 100% understanding of the anime.
So my next pick is going to be another anime that nobody's seen here, except for me, obviously. Someone had to see it. It's Plunderer. And there is some time travel. Do you have anything you'd like to share?
No, I didn't say anything.
No, I know. It's not what I asked. My God. Anyway, Plunderer. It's ended up being a really kind of crazy fun anime. It also had apparently an impression of being a bit rapey. First episode, yeah, After that, not so much. At that point, it's just Seven Deadly Sin stuff.
It's just the first episode.
And everybody loves that guy.
No big deal, bro.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, whatever. It's Goblin Slayer. It's fine. Don't even think about it.
It's never mind. No, never mind. Don't bring up Rita Wheeler with that.
Emmy award winning,
Oscar nominated.
But
it won the Tony Award this year.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
A musical came out.
This rod or my rod. This rod or my rod.
All right. Side note: if there was an anime musical that came out, would you go see it?
That's our next. That's our next.
Yes.
Oh God.
Oh my God, bro.
I'll leave it at that for now. But Plunder is cool. It has this whole system, ranking system, and it's the whole anime spans over. I don't know if 400 years is right, or it's way more than that. I unfortunately don't really remember, but it's got this whole 400 years in the future, which is the present for this anime. Everybody has these crazy powers. There's this whole ranking system with stars, and everybody has their own like quirky way of doing it. You know, one person is like, I get a point every time I walk a mile. I get a point every time I, listen to one of my convictions. I get a point every time I help someone. Some people are like, I get a point every time I kill someone. So you usually stay away from those people. But there ends up being this whole weird time travel thing because one of the people sends them back in time to a point where the world is kind of ending in a way because of this whole, there's not enough food, not enough resources. So everybody just starts battling and killing each other, which is why so long later, there's this, everybody's just fighting each other and it's all based on rankings. But it has some crazy plot stuff going on as far as the time travel and just character stuff that kind of comes out of nowhere towards the end of the anime, or maybe more a little bit halfway through. But yeah, Plunderer. It was pretty crazy.
Nice. And this is kind of a joke one, but I did really want to be the one to bring this up just because it was such it's still one of the most talked about moves in this particular anime. And like I said, it's kind of cheating here because it's in the card game. Time Wizard, bro. We got to talk about Time Wizard. We got to talk about Time Wizard because without him, we would never get the awesomeness of 1,000-year-old dragon. We got baby dragon turning into 1,000-year-old dragon. And then we got freaking whatever crazy dark magician.
Dark magic sage, bro.
There you go. I just thought it was cool because I still remember. I remember the feeling when I watched that on WB Kids back in the day, and I was just thinking, "Oh, he's got Time Wizard. That'd be fucking awesome, right?" And all of a sudden, just seeing Yugi's face is like, "Too bad for you, Joey. Your Time Wizard just sped up time, and Wizard gets much more wise with time and shit." And I was like, "Damn, that's a good point." But then again, I also realized this is just another one of those times where Yu-Gi-Oh's making up shit. It's just like any other things that they make up during it. It's like, hey, fucking Summon Skull has electric attacks, even though it's a dark monster, but it still has electric attacks. Shut up. Get Weevil out of here. Get out. Get him. And but yeah, I just remember seeing Time Wizard, and what the worst part was? It's one of the worst cards in the game you could ever have, guys. Like, it's literally, you have to like flip a coin, and if you lose, all your cards go bye-bye. It's like, what the fuck? It's like having a terrible dark hole on your side, bro. But except it just gets rid of everything. It's terrible. But I just wanted to bring it up because it's one of like those things that I remember really vividly in my mind when I'm just like, wow. Like, whenever somebody mentions time or something like that, I just can't help hearing fucking Joey Wheeler's Brooklyn accent, or I don't know what accent it is, but fucking Time Wizard. Bro, fucking love it. So Time Wizard's on there too.
Dude, every time he uses it, it's like, in the actual game, it's like, flip a coin. Either your stuff dies, you lose half your life points, or their stuff dies, and they lose half their life points. And in the game, in the anime, it's like, yeah, whatever. We'll just make it actually time travel and stuff. And yeah, sure, why not? Like, what about the life point laws? Nah, we just make up all the rules. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you actually need a polymerization in real life to get that fucking 1,000-year-old dragon, which is annoying. I really thought you had to. I really thought there was gonna be some cool ass thing. It's like, nah, you got polymerization. I'm like, I can't find. By the way, to this day, I have never found a polymerization card. I've never bought a fucking tin or one of those stupid little booster packs with a polymerization card in it. And then all of a sudden, now they're just like, oh, why don't we just add the stars up because we can do addition and we'll synchro summon shit. It's like, oh my god, bro, you guys don't even know what Yu-Gi-Oh is anymore.
Fusion Gate.
If you have polymerization, send it to animecashowsreal@gmail.com.
Yeah, send us a picture. It'll be fine. I just want to look at it.
They'll send us an eBay link going like, it's $100. Go buy it.
Oh my god, man. So I don't know how many more you guys got. Do you guys want to start going into
yeah, we'll let you add this. Yeah, my last two are Erased. Like you already mentioned it. It is a time travel anime about a dude helping other people, and then eventually helps solve his childhood best friend's murder from a creepy lollipop guy. And then the other one I have is a classic, and these guys haven't seen it. It's Inuyasha. Inuyasha is like a classic time travel story, but doesn't 100% make sense. Because Kagome goes back in time. She falls in a well. She goes back in time to I don't know. It was like the 1600s or 17. It's a while ago.
Is the well how she time travels?
Yes.
Okay.
So she falls into a well that's on her family's property, and the well has been sealed for a long time and it has one of those seals on it. She pulls the seal off. And then like a hole opens in the well and she falls in. Something grabs her and pulls her in. And then she's like in this other land. It's basically like ancient Japan. And then she is in a land of demons and sorcerers and meets this half demon boy Inuyasha. And then they go off on adventures together. The craziest part about this, though, is that anything she does in the past, at least from what I remember, has no effect on the future at all. Like, I think their like goal with time travel was like, oh, it's so far in the past. There's no way it could do anything in the future. In the future where there's no demons or anything else, even though demons can live like forever in that world. It's like, no, they all just disappear. It's okay. And then Inuyasha was pinned to a tree for a while. So it's also like, it feels like it's one of those moments where time travel fixed itself. So it's like, oh, we already knew Kagome was going to the past. So, she already did that. And then now in the future, like everything's fixed because she already, okay, whatever. It was it's a fun anime, but it's a lot more romantic at times than it needs to be.
Dude, I still remember that very first scene with Kagome falling in that well. And actually, this is a true story. It is actually the reason why I never watched Adult Swim again. It was literally like 5 seconds where I freaked the hell out because I thought that poor girl. I thought it was like because I think like around that time like The Ring and all that shit had come out or whatever that girl from The Well
Yeah.
is. I thought I was watching like a cartoon version of
Sonical.
it, and I was like, oh my god, bro, oh my god, and I freaked out. I literally like turned off the lights, turned off my TV, and went and tried to go to bed. I was like, I don't want to fall. In
Yeah,
the
I mean,
well.
it is really creepy. I think there's like a centipede monster or something in there. Like, there's a lot of creepy demons throughout Inuyasha, and it's all really fun. But like the time between it is not fun.
Yeah, but I just never knew it was Inuyasha until somebody. I think you had mentioned it to me, Michael, and I was like, you were like, oh yeah, did you know Kagome fell down the wall? I was like, that girl did look a lot like Kagome in my nightmares. What the hell's going on here? And then I relooked at it. I was like, this isn't as scary as I remembered it being, but I think I was like 9 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was pretty traumatic at that time.
Yeah, Lucky actually fell down a well after that.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't do well with
yeah.
heights.
he was a priestess for his family.
Oh my god.
I had no idea, Lucky. That's crazy.
John, you got any more?
I do, but honestly, I don't know. I don't remember how to explain like how time travel works. It's
Throw it out.
Godzilla singular point. I
Oh, don't. I got it. Okay, so
see.
there
He said don't at first. Like
no.
don't worry about
He
it.
doesn't. I will. The way the time travel works doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of science mumbo jumbo about how that the future and the past and the present are all interacting with each other constantly, and then there's like a wave of a multitude of a spider web of a timeline, and they're all simultaneously acting on the future and the past at the same time. So anything that you do, you can send information to the future, and then the information comes back to you, and then you can send information to the past. But all in all, it's a confusing anime. And that's why I'll leave that.
Interesting.
Godzilla. Godzilla. Okay.
Lucky?
Where are they at, Johnny?
No. That's it.
Godzilla Singular Point was 5 and 1.
All right, so I got Orange. Really, really heartbreaking anime. It was one of the toughest ones I've ever had to watch. About it's more about like kids sending mail to their past selves to help their friend from committing suicide. Kind of never explained how they got the mail back there, to be real with you, but I mean, whatever, man. What, you don't want this friend to not commit suicide? What are you, monster? Don't ask how they got the time traveling
Don't ask
mailbox.
questions.
And then speaking of time traveling things, we got the time traveling turtle from Boruto. That's a classic. I've ranted and raved about that for so long that it's just, I don't know. It's done. I'm done at this point. That might have actually been the thing that ruined Boruto for me. Despite the fact that it was cool to watch all these characters interact, but either way, it was really poorly done. Sagrada Reset was about these two people coming together with superpowers. One can rewind time 3 days in the past. But she doesn't remember anything, so she'll always try and reset anything whenever she sees something fucked up. She's like, I'll rewind, but then she doesn't remember what she rewinded for. So then she meets a guy who has crazy memory, like he has a photographic memory, but he also remembers things. He even remembers when she resets things. So whenever she does, he tells her, and then they come together to make this like duo and shit, which is kind of cool. Obviously we got One Piece, we got Toki, and all that stuff. I'm not gonna really say too much about it because I don't want to get too spoiler on that because it's. What was that, like 900 episodes?
That. You have to watch all of One Piece. No.
Yeah, can't skip Skypiea like I did. You gotta watch all of it. So there, okay.
I just watched the fight between that guy and the electric guy, and like they fought, and it was crazy.
Wait, was that Skypiea?
Yeah.
Oh,
Luffy fought an electric guy.
I knew he fought. What's the ring guy? The guy with the ring legs. The bouncy guy. Spring guy. Yeah. What's the spring leg?
Yeah,
guy?
that's like the very beginning of it.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's before he.
I mean, I knew that because I watched all of Skypiea.
Like episode 2 of, I don't know, 50-ish.
Because I watched all of Skypiea and I deserve to be here. Anyway, why don't we go over and then Dragon Ball Z Trunks in particular. When Trunks,
I believe I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's
when Trunks goes back to obviously the time travel thing and anything is very confusing, but when Trunks goes back, there's a movie or something like that where Trunks, or maybe like a OVA or something like that, where Trunks actually goes back after helping everybody, and then he actually fights off Android 17 because his future still isn't changed, so he actually has to go back to the future and actually beat the shit out of Android 17 and 18, and he beats the shit out of him, bro. Like, he's so strong at this point that he's just like, oh, I got you, boss. And that fight scene by itself was just so, oh, dude, it was so good. Just knowing all the shit that Android 17 and 18 from this time had done. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much where I had to end. But anyway, guys, remember you can check out All Things Casual at the link tree in the description box down below. Also, if you guys want to email me that picture of Time Wizard, not Time Wizard, polymerization, whatever I don't know, send me whatever. Anyway, send us whatever at Anime Casuals with an S, real, REAL, at gmail.com. As always, guys, don't forget to keep
it casual.